Thursday, December 13th edition of the Carolina Weather Video. I'm meteorologist Matthew East here with you. Check out this shot from the Avalon Pier web camera this morning. Looks like that pier has taken a beating over the past 24 hours. There's been a lot of really stiff northeast winds up and down the coast. And again, look at that flag really whipping in that wind here early this morning. Still a wind-driven rain in parts of eastern North Carolina. Up in the mountains, a different story. The cold air is in place. The snow guns are again on in some of the ski resort areas across the region once again this morning. Look at that heavy rain, though, still occurring in eastern parts of North Carolina. But that's it. This is the final wave of rain with that system that's been affecting us over the past 24 hours or so. Now, in terms of rain amounts, there's your rain totals across the southeast. Anywhere you get into the brighter shading of green, that is over 1 inch of rain. And as expected, when you got here into the Carolinas, the further east you went, the more rain there was. And there were some pretty good rain totals through eastern parts of North Carolina. Several, in fact, many spots picking up over 1 inch of rain as this system has unfolded. Now, this morning, there's your temperatures. It's pretty cool, upper 30s in a lot of spots. And the wind is actually up a pretty good bit in many locations across the region. There's your latest round of wind speeds, an 18-mile-per-hour wind there in Greensboro, 13 in Charlotte, 15 in Fayetteville. And you factor the wind in with the temperatures, that makes some wind chill values down below the freezing mark in many spots across the region this morning. Temperatures across the country, look at that bitterly cold air at the top of your screen there in Canada. Keep waiting to see exactly when and how that's going to get released down into the U.S. And if you want to find any warmth, you really got to head down into Florida. Even New Orleans right now is at 34 degrees. Yesterday was a pretty chilly day. 48 the high in Charlotte, 46 in Greensboro, 50 in Raleigh, 39 the best Boone could do yesterday. And here's the deal. That rain through the night has been moving through eastern parts of the Carolinas, but that coastal low in the front are exiting, high pressure building in, and it's a pretty cool high pressure. A lot of sunshine set to return today. You can see that here on Stormcast. We'll have a lot of sunshine and then a clear, cold overnight period ahead and a lot of sun again on the way for tomorrow. All right, on to the modeling here, and we'll kind of jump around and show you what's happening with our system for next week and some thoughts on further down the road into December as well. This is a look at the European upper air chart for today, that little disturbance exiting off the coast. We have a couple of quiet weather days coming up. Now, as we get into the weekend, this is Saturday night into Sunday morning. One little piece of energy in the Great Lakes, another one down close to the Rio Grande River. And as we get further out in time into the weekend, this is Sunday evening. And again, notice it's a chaotic flow pattern. One piece of energy there, another one right on its heels, another one in the Rockies, all kinds of stuff going on up here toward Canada. Now, let's get into next week. And here we are Tuesday. And you begin to see that upper level low close off, and on the European model there is enough energy rounding the base of this that by the time you get out to Wednesday morning, that's what it looks like on the European. You have that closed low sitting over the outer banks. Now at the same time, the GFS on the 0Z run, much different. That upper level energy is all the way up into the northeastern part of the country by that point in time. And the reason here, and I don't think I stuck the individual GFS charts in here, but let me step back a frame on the European. You end up with just really the overall phasing of this scenario being handled differently on the 0Z European compared to the 0Z GFS. And so you wind up on the European with that closed upper low right there. And it really closes off much slower, much further north on the 0Z run of the GFS. And I'll show you what that means in terms of precipitation in just a second, but let's go through the next few days first. Again, high pressure builds in today. Tomorrow we'll have a lot of sunshine both days. Over the weekend, clouds begin to roll in from the west on Saturday, and then as this cold front approaches Sunday, some shower chances are with us, so I think Sunday and then Sunday night into Monday morning, we'll have our best opportunity for rain. The models have been actually pretty decent with the rain totals here with this Sunday night into Monday morning. So that's Sunday night. We get to Monday, and that's when the GFS begins to pop that low pressure. Notice its position over Virginia and North Carolina, and then 12 hours later, that's all the way up off the Jersey coast. Now, that's obviously handled differently on the European. Here we are at 138 hours on the European, and at that point in time, Where 6 hours earlier on the GFS, that low sitting on the Jersey coast, you have that low sitting over the Carolinas. 6 hours later, it's moving to the coast. That would be some snow in the mountains at that point in time by late Tuesday. And that snow tries to make it over into parts of the Virginias and maybe even northern parts of North Carolina as we get into Tuesday night on the European. And from there, the model takes that low pressure offshore. And there's some interior snows there from parts of Virginia. And again, maybe northernmost North Carolina with this on this run of the European. So obviously the models are handling that low pressure totally differently. And again, that's what I kind of cautioned might happen. There's so many pieces of energy. It's a very chaotic pattern with all kinds of upper level energy roaming around. And any solution, any one solution off the models can't be taken with any certainty. Now further down the road, let's go to 240 hours on the GFS, and this is a charge of pure Arctic air making its way into the country. That's really cold stuff. Really, really cold setup on the GFS as you get into the later time frames. And I do want to show you this. This is kind of interesting. This is back a little bit earlier, 216 hours. So this is next Friday evening, and on the GFS you have this little low pressure forming. And that's on this Arctic front. Again, there's your really cold air plunging southward, and the GFS kind of overwhelms the eastern U.S. and doesn't allow, with the cold weather, doesn't allow that low pressure to develop. And so by 240, that's what you look like. That low kind of squashed down toward the Gulf of Mexico. Now you look to the European. Let's see what it shows, and it's sort of similar. Very, very cold setup. Interesting to see what happens with this brewing Gulf low there. But boy, that's cold air. Very, very cold air here out next weekend. So it certainly looks far from warm as we go through the rest of December with some potential there for at least some intervals of cold air, especially as we get deeper in the month, say the last 10 days of the month, 20th onward. 21st onward, thereabouts. We'll kind of see how this all unfolds. All right, that is it for today's edition of the Carolina Weather Video. Thank you for watching. Have a great day, and God bless.